in a GPS denied environment. And the side that can do that will have an enormous advantage. And I like to think that the knowledge that the other side has that capability might be a deterrent. And so to me, it's like, I think we need to get quantum sensors, quantum timekeeping devices in the hands of our troops as soon as possible. Because in the horrible scenario where something actually happens, it will give them a huge advantage, but hopefully more importantly, it'll be a deterrent because the other side will know that they're going to be up against a force that would just be very difficult to deal with.
So that was the CEO for Inflection, Matthew Kinsella, and as this guy posted, that is basically him talking about how quantum sensing is an immediate real-world application for national security and how it's becoming essential for the U.S. to maintain their superiority on the battlefield, and how it is going to be a race to get this technology up and running and working proficiently, and how it could be a deterrent to the opposition if they know that we have this kind of technology to our advantage. So I just thought it was pretty cool to see the CEO speaking on this. Haven't seen many interviews from the other quantum CEOs, but Inflection does look ready to go, and I want to get into the chart and everything that happened today. Very weird day in the market. We had an AWS issue where a lot of brokerages were down, flow was down, just a lot of issues. So a very low volume day. We had started the day, we were over $22 to start, and then just saw a low volume dump and even a low volume pump towards the end of the day. So we had about half the volume in the market today. Even on SPY, there was half the volume. So all those stocks were pumping, like Beyond Meat was going crazy, Apple was doing well. It was all on low volume. So about half the volume traded today for CCCX. But as far as the chart goes, everything is still in place. So I actually did add more today, and I posted that in the Discord as well. So when it came down and tapped my buy zone, it's holding that 19 to 20 range pretty well. I would say that's somewhat of its point of control and what the market is accepting as a fair value for this one. And it continues to bounce off of that. Now, we are selling off on declining volume, which is bullish. These gaps below are still concerning. Obviously, we could fill those eventually, but I think within the next day or two, as long as quantum stocks don't get absolutely smoked, this one should break out above and start to head back towards that value area high of 2766. That would be if we broke out above, let's say 2277 with high volume, a candle like this, but obviously in our favor. So we're looking for that high volume breakout and hold. Now, as far as Elliott wave goes, it does seem like we're about to get our fifth wave up. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that fifth leg up. So after that fifth leg, you would expect a little bit of retraction. This is as long as quantum stocks don't get smoked like RGTI. Right now, I'm just sitting in shares, and that is because it's much easier to hold through volatility like this with shares. I've actually just been buying shares and just kind of staying away from the call options right now just because of how choppy the market has been, but still looking to get some options on CCCX, just waiting at the moment. And flow has been mixed. So you're seeing a lot of people sell calls, which is technically bearish, but they're also selling calls out to the 40 strike. And so short term, like November expiration, it is mixed, but I'm seeing more bullish flow. Longer term, out to 2026, you're seeing more bearish flow, but really nothing insane. Like, didn't even reach $1 million in flow today, so I'm not too worried about the flow. But overall, expecting a move on this one within the next few days, and hopefully it's in the breakout direction, not a breakdown, but we'll keep monitoring it. Pretty much don't want to see this thing slip under that 17 mark, or things could get pretty ugly, filling gaps below. But right now it is holding pretty well, and I think the market is leaning bullish on this one. So we'll keep monitoring it in the Discord, and let's move on to SoFi. All right, so SoFi is doing its thing, up 8% on the day, and it has really just been trading, consolidating between that 25, 29 mark through all the turbulence in the market with, the China stuff, the Trump headlines, back and forth whiplash. SoFi has been holding very well. And even in the video, the chart is playing out to a T. So I have not changed this chart one bit on the weekly, and we are popping exactly where we need to. Now, I still think that we could come back down to 26 or 27 before earnings, and then that earnings will be our launch pad. But we'll see. We'll see how things go. This guy posted that 5 million bold debit spread, looking for 42 plus by then, and we have earnings next week. Now this isn't out. This is pretty much out to 2026 is what this flow is for. But SoFi is looking great, and some people are even switching due to the AWS stuff and Robinhood being affected. They're switching over to SoFi. Now I didn't check SoFi to see if it worked or not, but it sounds like it may have been working. And Hood was disabled this morning. All right, and then last up for SoFi, we had a lot of flow coming in. We had 29.82 million in calls versus 5 million in puts, and bull flow was around 21 million. Bear flow is around 10 million. Just means people are selling covered calls. But one thing that stood out is that the call premium has started to skyrocket even though the price is up. So that means people are bullish heading into earnings. Put volume and puts are declining heading into earnings. So I do think SoFi has some big news coming on the 28th, and we'll see, if we get our big breakout. I do expect over $30. I'm still just in shares. Unfortunately, I don't have any calls for SoFi. So maybe if I were to get that dip that I want to 26, maybe I'll pick up a couple, maybe 2 or 3 January calls on SoFi.